Yeah, so Vortex here and welcome to my review of the Sivga Phoenix headphones. These actually use wooden cups, which you'll see in a bit. And in the box is a separate pair of pads. These are basically thicker pads. So yeah, as usual, full disclaimers, I'd like to thank Sivga for sending these out to try. So thank you very much. And for that as well, I was not paid to do this video, nor thoughts and opinions are my own. And yet it's good to see more headphones on the channel, because variety is the spice of life, they say. And yeah, so before I open it, the specs are on the back. So as you can see, 50mm drivers, 32 ohm impedance, 20Hz to 20 kHz, 103 decibels sensitivity, weight is 296 grams. I briefly tried these on and these are very light considering the wooden cups. And yeah, let's see what we get. So that's what you get. Very premium kind of box. Well padded. Again, very well padded. Looks like a bum. But anyway, but good strap. Really nice, solid build. You can, and also here, so you can actually stand it, you know, vertical. So yeah, again, you can see from the design, very secure. Get that out of the way. Let's get these first. So yeah, all wooden construction. These again very light. You can see kind of leather. Just a bit different to like the AKGs where they're spring loaded, but obviously I'll try these out for comfort later on. These are what the actual original pads look like. Now the new ones we included over there is because I think some people moan that like the ears was touching the driver, so this foam, and it is very it's thin. So obviously I'll try the other pads as well. I actually have smaller ears, so it might not be a problem. But pads are super soft. Obviously 2.5. Again, build quality is really good. Here you can adjust it here. Further up, so yeah, left, right, swivel, should be fine. Cable, like a kind of sandbag kind of material. Obviously I'll have a good look at this cable in a bit, but obviously 3.5, so it's not balanced or anything. Grip on there, kind of braided, obviously to dual 2.5s, and them labelled, and it's got colours, as you can see. So yeah, I'll unroll that in a bit so we can have a good look. But I'm quite curious of these pads. These are called, I think these are called the thicker pads or thickened pads or something like that. So on the back you can see to release it, even says there open, close. Different material, but you can see it's bigger and angled. So it looks a little bit deeper, so I'll have to see what these are like. But yeah, it's always good to see headphones on the channel. So yeah, I'm gonna put some hours on these. Unfortunately, I can't graph them, but it is what it is, and I'll see what they're like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to something a bit different. But yeah, let's get into it. So finally on to the review section of the Sivga Phoenix. So let's get on to fitment and comfort ultimately. So I think when I first was looking into these, a few people had issues with like the headband. So that gap there is sometimes for some people is kind of tight, and these fit me perfectly. And a friend of mine who's got a slightly larger head than mine has no issues. So what I mean by here is here to here. So if it's on your head, for example, some people find it more kind of tension or kind of tighter. For me, it was perfect. For my friend of mine, it was perfect. Yeah, so let's talk about headband. This is leather, soft, and it smells like real leather, no issues at all. These are also very light for what they are, so yeah, no problem at all. So let's talk about pads, because what's on there now, these are the replacement pads. Obviously these are the ones that come fitted. There is some sound changes, but I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, for comfort, these are better because they are a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper. Some people with these pads, because they are on the thinner side, the ear would touch that. This solves that, so that's one thing to talk about really. So yeah, build quality, again very good. So wooden cups, this is metal, obviously leather. I can't much to say really. So bottom is 2.5 each, so you can run balanced if you wanted to. You don't need to because these are easy to power. So yeah, straight onto pound sensitivity. These are super easy to power, as in your phone can run them. Easier to power than I imagined, which is kind of strange. But yeah, so talk about Soundstage, because these are open back. Soundstage on these is great. I tried some casual gaming because I don't do competitive gaming. I think it sounds great. So everything sounds big, like the big open world maps, whether it's first person shooters or just casual playthrough, they sound great because everything sounds big. Plus the bass emphasis on them, but I'll get into that in a bit. But yeah, I was more than happy with the stage. That's a great thing. I do use a lot of IEMs, and then you use much bigger drivers, and the same comes from outside your head. It is better really for gaming when you get yourself a good pair of headphones. So let's talk about isolation. There isn't much because it's open back. Some people think these isolate much. You can't really see through because my hand's behind there. You can't see, but they are technically open back, and they don't make much sound either. So I was quite happy with that. Technical performance I found was good. Not great, but more than good enough for what they are. Also, they're not planars. They use a typical dynamic driver. So, but again, through my music and bit of gaming I tried, it was fine really. I didn't really have any issue. And imaging again was fine. Again, I had no issues at all. On the whole, I've actually had quite a good experience with these. So yeah, so before sound, second part about the pads. So these are the ones, like I said, fitted. Now if you look here, you have to turn them that way to get them off. So if you're looking on the headphone, you turn it clockwise, and the initial time was very difficult to get them off, but a couple of times seems to free the mechanism up, so just bear that in mind. So yeah, you want to turn it clockwise. So if these to come off, you turn it that way. So yeah, so sound, because that's what we're here for. So the sound of these, the differences are very subtle. So bass, I found with these replacement pads, there's a little bit more mid bass, especially sub bass. It doesn't really roll off as much with these leatherish pads. I don't mind that. Again, no issues with the actual sound, the bass part. Now they do have a mid bass emphasis. Now I think some people didn't like that. I typically do like electronic music, so I do like that. They don't sound muddy or anything like that, but I do appreciate the extra bass that these have. The lower mids, mid bass, upper bass, I like that. And for movies and films, it gives it life, and because of the stage, it sounds big. I like that. I think some people might prefer less, but it is a little bit elevated, which is surprising because they're open back. But I was fine with it. Again, a little bit more. The differences between the pads are very small, so you have to bear that in mind. But the mid range for them both was fine. It didn't really stand out. The lower bass obviously does bleed from the bass. The lower mids just bleed a bit. So it makes it sound a little bit. People call it lush. I don't know if that's the word I'd use, but that's the impression I'd get. A little bit more so than with these pads. Yeah, fine really. Vocals, female vocals are slightly recessed. A little bit of EQ would solve that. But yeah, I was kind of happy again with the mids. It was quite safe really. And so the treble region, overall sound signature of these is kind of like neutral-ish with a bit of warmth to it, is probably the way to say it. But the treble, on the whole, is actually quite fine. it's kind of, there's a balance between bright and dark, and it kind of goes in the middle. There's a little bit of sibilance. I think there's a peak. I haven't seen any graphs of these, but I think there's a peak between 5 to 6 ish somewhere. I think smoothing that off would help, and I did try that and it did help. But apart from that, the treble does have really good extension. Instrument separation is good. I think it was a little bit better with these pads, the original stock pads. Again, very, very small difference. It seems to slightly smooth it over with these pads. Not much though, just you know, just a little bit. And the treble on these seems to extend very well. Again, I did like my time with them, really. So I was quite happy with it. So I want this video to go on for 10 million years. So conclusion, do I recommend these? Yes, I recommend it with these pads over the originals, especially if you've got massive ears, larger ears. These are the pads for you. Whether you buy them separately or if you can buy them with them, that's what I recommend. Again, on the whole, I was quite happy with it. The only thing that I'd personally change is to smooth off that sibilance I heard with the treble. And then apart from that, I was quite happy with them. Or maybe if you want to EQ up the upper mids part to get a little bit more vocals, I was happy with how they are. But yeah, quite happy with it on the whole. Again, I was quite lucky as well with the original pads, because I don't have large ears. But just be wary of, if you do buy them, your ears may touch the back. But yeah, the good pair of headphones. They've released one with a beryllium driver recently. So I'm quite curious to what's that like. And they've released a planar. So yeah, I think that might be it. I think I've covered quite a bit. So if you know anything in particular, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe, as it just helped me a lot. And take care. See you in the next video, whatever that will be.